Good morning. I'll have you start by stating your full name and spelling your last name for the record.
Roberta Klussmann, Klussmann.
Ms. Klussmann, were you in the room earlier when I went through the penalties for perjury?
Yes.
And do you understand what perjury is?
Yes, ma'am.
And being advised of the potential penalties for perjury, do you promise to tell the truth in this case today?
I do.
All right, thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Jordy.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ma'am, what's your relation to Ms. Bryan, who just testified?
That's my sister. She's our manager. Mm-hmm.
She's the manager of the
8N2E properties.
All right. Mm-hmm. And Your Honor, I've passed around what's been marked RL1, and I think that's finding its way to everybody. Ma'am, before we go through what you've prepared, I'd like to turn to the very last page just to set the stage for the commission of exactly where the affected property is. So if I could just ask you to turn there. Is the last page of Exhibit RL1 a true and accurate copy of information provided to you, to the entity, by Summit of where their proposed hazardous pipeline would diagonally dissect your property?
Yes, it is. It's diagonally straight through 504 acres.
All right.
Right in the middle.
And
excuse me for interrupting, Mr. Jordy. I believe this witness has testified previously, and in the interest of time, I don't think people should be given an opportunity to.
I've never testified ever.
You never testified?
This is the first time.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so again, we're at RL, the very last page, and
hang on, Mr. Jordy.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Ms. Klussmann, can you give us a legal description of where this property is?
Yes, I can. Township 140, Burnt Creek. The range is 80 West, Section 24.
Is it this on MB1? Is it the green heart? Do you know?
Yeah, it would be the green. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry, Mr. Jordy, for the interruption.
No problem.
Totally fine. So again, the total number of acres in yellow on this last page of RL1, as you said, over 500?
Yes, 504 acres.
And is it fair to say you have concern about the pipeline generally, but specifically about the route they've chosen to dissect three separate of your parcels?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So now that we've kind of set the stage of where it's at, I notice you have here a demonstrative in front of you. Can you, we don't have to go through every single photo, but if you give us a little flavor about what that is and why it's important.
All right. You all have pictures, so I wanted you to be able to see.
Can you move the microphone up to you?
Sure.
Thank you.
You all do have these pictures, but I did want to let you see them up close because I knew I would be having this back here. Anyway, I'm the fourth child born to Robert and Marion Morris. I was born on that farm. And this has been my life for 71 years. And as long as I have legs, I will walk this land. As long as I have legs to walk. This land means everything to me. This is where I vacation. This is where I get joy. This is where I get peace, tranquility. This is where I picnic. This is where I pick choke cherries. This is where I picnic on the rock foundation of the first Burleigh County country school. The rock foundation's still there. This is where I walk the land to find other rock foundations that we believe is a poet, Francis Boyner's. This is the land I walk that Linda Slaughter walked. And she was the first postmistress of Bismarck and the first superintendent in Burleigh County and teacher. You'll see cow paths. I walk the cow paths. I guess probably what's most important is in the middle. This is the 29 descendants of this property These are real people. This is what they look like today. And these people, we are the inheritance to this land. This was a gift from my parents to us upon their passing. There you'll see pictures of me enjoying this land. I have thousands of pictures. I take thousands of pictures of this land. That's how much I love it. You're only seeing a taste of it. Look at the cattails. I pick crocuses, just like Dad did for Mother all those years. All those years. All these flowers that you see, you have it. They're all native prairie flowers. This means something to me. And I sure don't want a pipeline going and messing up our beautiful property. This is God's country. This land is sacred to our family. The state flower of North Dakota grows on this land. This land is cropland, and this land is native prairie grass that's unbroken. Unbroken prairie grass can be up to 12 feet deep. "12 feet deep." If you mess with the roots of 12 feet deep is just as deep as my love for this land. And if you mess with that kind of the root system, you can goof up the ecosystem of the watershed, which we have on our land.
Let me just ask a question there while we continue to go through this.
Okay.
With native prairie grassland, are you aware of the difficulties of getting that to grow back? If a trench is dug, a pipeline is built, you have infrastructure that's emitting more heat and messing up with the soil chemistry. Do you have any opinions on how devastating that would be?
I can't imagine how devastating that would be. I mean, it would be awful. It would be totally awful. We pick artifacts off this land. My sister, she found what we believe held the school bell on the rock foundation. We just love looking for things. The land that is broken, this prairie breaker plow, on your noon hour, you can go over and look at it. My dad donated it to the Heritage Center in 1989 after the centennial. It's right here. This is the kind of man my father was. We are going to honor him. He donated that to this Heritage Center. He gave virgin soil from this land to the governor's mansion lawn. He gave virgin soil for the 1989 centennial, all the flowers that could spell out Bismarck, North Dakota, whatever it was. This is the kind of man he was. We're going to keep honoring him.
And ma'am, did you and your family make a promise to your parents to be the best stewards of this ground that you possibly could, whether it's keeping areas as native grassland or the wildflowers, or whether in the future it includes developing it so other people can enjoy it?
Yes, we did. We said we would. He just said, do something great with this land. Someday do something great with this land.
And is any part of that promise and any part of what your parents' legacy and your legacy will be, does any part of that have to do with allowing a hazardous, high-pressure carbon dioxide pipeline to dissect the land?
No, it would be devastating to this land. This is all we have. This is my retirement. This land, my portion of this land, I don't have a pension. I don't have a retirement. But this land is the only thing I have in my name. And I plan to use it in my old age. If I have to go to a nursing home, I plan to use it someday.
And are you aware if Summit or their third-party contractors have been on your land here in question and surveying it?
I'm aware that they've been on there 4 times, but I have no idea how many times because I just don't know.
And have they provided you or Mr. Leibel or I as your counsel the findings of any of their surveys?
No, they've never contacted us to even ask to go on it.
And have they provided us any findings of any of the examinations, whether to confirm artifacts and historical places of significance on your land?
They haven't. They just don't. They've never called us.
Okay.
We called them to invite them into my home here in Bismarck to tell them why we love, just like I'm telling you why I love this land. That's what we told them.
And when you told them that, did it have an impact? Did they do anything with that information?
No, they walked out the door. It was a very fine conversation. It was nothing wrong. I mean, they just
led nowhere.
It led nowhere.
Okay. No. All right. And do you think that's part of their kind of PR campaign to be able to say, well, we talked to them, checked the box, but it ultimately goes nowhere?
Objection calls for speculation.
I agree.
Well, what was your impression? What was your impression of the purpose of them being there? Did you no? It's her impression. That's not speculation.
Hang on. She can answer as to her understanding of their purpose there.
Of their purpose coming to my home?
Yeah,
your impression of why they came.
I mean, I invited them so that they would move this pipeline route off our land. I told them they put it in the wrong place.
And did you form an impression that they were taking you seriously, or that they were going to do anything about your concerns?
Objection leading.
It is leading. You got to ask open-ended questions.
All right. Did you form, this is a yes or no question, did you form an opinion, yes or no, about the truthfulness of, or the willingness of them to listen and then actually do something to protect this ground?
No, there wasn't any willingness, and we never heard back from them.
Okay. All right. Are there any other particularly important images other than the ones that we've talked about that you'd like to address before we wrap up?
Well, I mean, it's just beautiful. You should all go out there. When you look at the rocks, you look at nature, it's breathtaking. It's absolutely breathtaking. This is where nature lives, too. Beautiful animals. We rent this. Right now, it's being rented. And we sure don't want any danger to our renters' cattle. That's for darn sure.
Ma'am, I noticed that if you kind of page towards the back, it's the fourth to last page on our exhibit here. And you've got a gentleman holding what appears to be native prairie grass and showing the roots. What was your intent with that photo?
I wanted to show how deep the roots are of native prairie, unbroken native prairie grass, compared to agricultural roots. There's a difference. This shows this. So this is the only picture other than the words on here. Everything else is straight from that land or pictures of my family.
And is it your understanding then to not interfere with the native prairie grass that Summit would have to place its pipeline up to 12 feet below the surface?
They can't do that to us.
I understand that. I understand that. But
no, I don't want them to do anything to that land.
Understood.
If anybody does anything to that land, it'll be us, because we've made that decision to do it.
I don't have anything further. Thank you.
Mr. Bender, any objection to the exhibit?
No objection.
Do you have any questions?
I do. Just a few questions. First of all, ma'am, I apologize for suggesting that you testified before this body before, but did you testify before Burleigh County Board of County Commissioners?
Yes.
Okay, and I think that's where I saw you, so I apologize. I don't think I have any questions.
All right. Mr. Pelham, any objection to the exhibit?
No objection. It must have taken you a while to put that together, so thank you for doing that. I don't have any other questions.
All right. Mr. Pranis, any objection to the exhibit?
No, Your Honor.
Any questions?
No.
Mr. Bakke, any objection to the exhibit?
No objection.
All right, the exhibit is received, and I've marked it as RK1. Mr. Bakke, any questions?
Just briefly, Ms. Klussmann, you've indicated that your family has plans to develop this property.
We do.
Yeah. And is it your family's intent and yours to develop it in a way that respects your parents' wishes?
Yes.
Okay. And is it your intention and your family's intention to develop it so that those native prairie grass system will remain intact as part of the development?
Yes. My husband will be speaking more on that, but yes. These are going to be big lots. So it's going to preserve, and we're going to be preserving all the different little historical areas too.
Okay.
It's all been set aside.
Okay. Thank you. I have nothing further.
Yeah.
Commissioner Klussmann?
I just for clarification, I know that part of this was not your testimony, it was your sister's, but her testimony showed all but the northeast 80 acres of Section 24 as being, it's not real clear, I think John B. Rasick.
That's who my father bought from. When my father bought the farm in 1950, the year before I was born,
Okay.
he bought it from Mr. Rasick.
And then your map, all the yellow portions show it as being the LLP, but the southwest quarter, it's kind of split between the LLP and David Lehman.
Yes, he owns the farm.
LLP, or did he sell some of that?
My father sold the farmhouse, and it's 42 acres around there.
To someone else, though.
To someone else. It was another person's land or home before Dave Lehman.
Okay.
Dave Lehman is not the first owner.
Thanks for clarifying.
Commissioner Haugen-Hoffert?
Yes, I have a question. I'm going to refer to this picture.
Yes.
And it's on your poster board.
Yeah.
Are these sinkholes?
No.
What
Those
are
are animal holes. That's their homes.
Oh.
I have a love for animals, and I wanted to show you just a few of the ones that I've found. They're beautiful.
So is that in
Prairie dogs. You can go out there now and you can see them.
Yeah. Is that in section?
Could be foxes, badgers, could be many, any kind of wildlife.
Is that in section 24 that goes right through?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Dawson, any questions?
No questions. Thank you.
Mr. Jordy, any redirect?
Just briefly, so I appreciate Commissioner Klussmann's clarification. So the map that you have here, this is a Summit-produced map where it highlights yellow, which are your properties, but you also own more than the majority of the portion of what's in the green in the lower left-hand corner, correct?
Yeah, it would be the, excuse me. That is the cropland.
Okay, and to be clear,
It's right next, it says next to Dave Lehman, that is all cropland there.
understood. And is it your opinion that you believe the value of that land, although not shown in yellow on the last page of your exhibit, would also be negatively impacted by the existence of the dissecting hazardous pipeline?
Yes, this whole 504 acres would be affected.
Okay, and I'm sorry, did you have one more thing you wanted to share?
Yeah, I have several things I want to share.
Okay, go ahead.
I just want to thank you, Judge and Commissioners, for listening to me today. And I want you to know I'm a lover of the land, especially North Dakota land. I'm a girl of the prairie, and I go out there every chance I can get. This land, our land, was not the original pipeline route. It was moved from Mr. Dale Pahlke south of us onto our land, and we don't know why. We were never notified the route was on our land, ever. We found out about it on television watching the Burleigh County Commission meeting. You can imagine what a shock it was. We said, I think that's our land they've moved it on. Summit Carbon Solutions chose the wrong land, and they need to find a new route for this pipeline. If they moved it 3,000 times, they can move it 3,001. This proposed pipeline serves no public good whatsoever. This land is our land, it's not Summit's. We want the pipeline out of our life. It's ruined our life for the past year. And I mean ruined our life. We have our own plans for this land, plans for us, and not for Summit. Our partnership is always going to be opposed to this pipeline. We don't want the responsibility of a pipeline on our land with a 99-year lease. That's totally unacceptable. This CO2 proposed pipeline is not just an invasion, it's an infiltration into our privacy. Our partnership will never, ever agree to an easement with Summit Carbon Solutions. They are not to be trusted, and I do not trust their investors. I've been studying. We have been victimized in this political movement, and I'm sick of it. I want the committee to know what Summit Carbon Solutions has done to us for a year. The stress has been monumental. It has affected our mental, our emotional, our physical health, and our financial livelihood. This land, on the other hand, gives me peace and tranquility and joy, and has given me freedom that we have here in the United States of America. I feel broken and violated, and I feel like I've been raped. The proposed pipeline is just too close to Bismarck. What were they thinking? They weren't thinking. We can't move our land, so they're just going to have to move their pipeline. And I mean it. As Bismarck grows, this is the direction it's going to grow. We have plans for this land. This land has unlimited potential development for residential and in the near future. Summit Carbon Solutions trying to steal that from us. Do you see that? They are trying to steal it from us. From all 29 descendants. I'm here for our partnership. I'm not here for Summit. A CO2 pipeline would devalue our prime real estate at 8N2E Properties LLP, totally diminishing the value. This land was a gift to us, to me, from my parents, grandparents. I'm counting on this land as income in my old age. This is the only thing I have in my name. Summit's name is not there. I'm sure my partners feel the same. It's just not right, and I think our partnership knows better what to do with our own land, not Summit. That's for sure. This land is our inheritance. We're here to honor our parents and grandparents. Our partnership plan is to secure our future. Prime development is already in progress. They instilled in us, my folks, grandparents, they instilled in us a love for land. They didn't give it to Summit. They gave it to us. They asked us to take care of it and do something good with it. I'm here today to protect our land. I'm here for my country neighbors that live close to this land. I'm here for the native prairie grassland and all the flowers that are native to North Dakota that grow on there. I'm here for the wildlife. I am here for the well and the dam my dad built. I'm here for the people of Burleigh County and the city of Bismarck, for Pete's sake. I'm here for the air I breathe when I'm out there. My husband and I won't ever be able to replace the time we've taken away from our family this past year, from our kids and our grandkids, just so we could defend this land. They're so understanding. The people of Burleigh County and Bismarck have spoken. They do not want this pipeline. The Burleigh County Commission, the Planning and Zoning Committee, the City of Bismarck, the Home Builders Association, the Bismarck Public Schools, the children. Think of the children. I believe, I heard that the Realtors Association is in on it now. I can't confirm that, but I think they are too. This is we the people. You know, everything is fine and dandy when it doesn't happen to you. I ask you, the Public Service Commission, to deny access or deny a permit to Sub and Carbon Solutions. No one should have to be going through this against their will. This land is a God-given gift to our family and a real blessing for all of us. So again, I ask you, the Commission, to reject the Summit Carbon Solutions application.
Thank you. I don't have any further questions.
Mr. Bender, any additional questions?
No questions.
Mr. Pelham? Mr. Pranis?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Bakke?
No, Your Honor.
Any further commission questions? All right. Thank you, Ms. Klussmann.
You're welcome.